Good morning. Just thought I'd take you on a drive around my local area in my lease Tesla Model 3. I've had it now for about a year. No problems at all. Well, saying that, there was a scratch in it when I got it, but that was repaired. Yeah, so no mechanical problems. Just get in and drive. It's a joy to behold. Realistically, you just get used to it, and you forget what it's like driving a fossil vehicle, and you just accept this the way you just drive it. It's smooth, and all other cars are the same, because whatever car you've got, you just get used to it, and there's nothing special anymore. But what I really should do, I suppose, is have a drive of an old fossil to remind me of the bad old days when you start your fossil up in the morning, because I used to do a lot of mileage and all sorts of weather. You start your fossil up in the morning, and pollute from there on, and the noise as well, waking up the neighbours, because I used to go to work very early in the morning. But those days are gone because I'm retired now, so I just drive around just for because I enjoy it. And I enjoy it more in this car because it's something different. If I got another fossil car, it would be the same as the dozens I've had before in my lifetime. The last about 15 years of my work, I used to get company cars. I used to get new fossil cars of various sorts. I mean, I used to have Vauxhall Cavalier, was the first one, and then a few of those. They're really good, actually. They're good down the motorway. And then Ford Sierra, that was the worst. That was terrible. I think there's something wrong with it, but I get taken to the garage and they say no, it's fine. But it was so slow, and also used loads and loads of fuel. It was a dreadful thing. I mean, gosh, I used to get less than 30 miles to the gallon out of that, and that was on long journeys, so that's absolutely abysmal. But now those days are gone. I got made redundant because the company I was with taken over, and then I did the job I was doing. I did it independently, self-employed. And then, of course, I had my own vehicle to do it in, and of course, look, just next to me is a Lamborghini. And you can't quite see it. Anyway, just I used to do it self-employed, and so I had to use my own vehicle and my own cost and pay for all my fuel. And well, that was horrendous. In fact, that's what really stopped me doing it at all, because the cost of the fuel was absolutely abominable. In fact, some days I had to fill up my petrol tank twice in one day. Unbelievable expense. I mean, if I had an electric car then, what a treat. Well, I would have carried on doing stock taking longer if I had an electric car, because the overheads are slashed. So anyone who does driving for a living, whether it's delivering parcels or whatever, and then loads and loads of people just use their car to deliver parcels, for whatever, Amazon, whatever. And this will be a real bonus, because I say it drives so cheap. I mean, I've quoted how much this costs to run this car, and charge it on Octopus Go at 5p per kilowatt, and this car does 5 miles per kilowatt, so that translates into 1p per mile, which is ludicrously cheap. Well, it's not even a consideration. So I leased this one. If I was a young person and had a decent job, I would definitely be thinking of the long term. At the moment, I think it's best to lease cars because it's getting better all the time. If I was young, I would be thinking of owning an electric car. And as everyone knows, and it's a fact, buying an electric car is very dear. I think it's too dear, actually, because battery prices have come dropping down. So why are they so dear? I don't know. They shouldn't be dear. I don't feel they should be dear as they are, because I think the price of batteries has dropped to about tenfold. So why are electric cars so dear? I mean, the makers haven't got to buy the engine or gearbox, so it's got to be a bit of a saving, surely. So hopefully they will become cheaper. But long term, if I was a young man, I really would be seriously thinking, probably waiting for a car to do 300 miles on a charge in all weathers, all times of the year, because it's no good quoting 300 miles in optimum conditions. If you want 300 miles, you've got to be looking for 350 miles to get that in all conditions. So, yeah, I'll be thinking of owning one, because the huge outlay would get chipped back every day by the non-cost of fuel, the non-cost of servicing. You'd be bringing your expenditure back, and in the end you'll be well in, because the life of electric cars, unlike people think electric cars batteries going to go down the pan, no they don't. Batteries are fine. You'll be thinking of having electric car for much longer than a fossil car. There's so few parts on it anyway. The drivetrain, engine and the motor, and they're both simple things. It's really simple things. The number of moving parts is next to nothing. No exhaust or cam belts or anything like that. So you'll be chipping back. You'll be getting your money back in the end. You just got to get over the initial outlay. As I say, if I was young and had a good job, I'd buy one on hire purchase or PCP or whatever. And after you've paid that off, you'd be well in pocket. Well in pocket. As the price of oil keeps fluctuating. I mean, the price of oil is a little bit cheaper now because of this rubbish that's going around and supply and demand. So oil prices have dropped a bit. It's nearly all tax anyway on oil, and people say, well, electricity will go up, or price for charging cars will go up, and I guess it might have to, but that is well down the line. It's not in the near future, because people aren't adopting electric cars in the UK to a huge degree, which is, I think, is a bit sad. I mean, in Norway they've really got it together, and their country's actually got oil, but they've got it together, and they've got lots of electric cars, lots of infrastructure, and they've gone for it, and well done them. Well done, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, the smart countries, as keeps bandied around sort of like a joke, but actually it's not really a joke, because they seem very smart to me. They seem to really know what they're doing. People say they're taxed more. Well, apparently they are taxed more, but they spend the taxes on their services. Their country, their people are looked after by the government, and they sell that oil to other countries to pollute them up. So that's a great thing. I mean, I see. I watch Bjorn Nyland. He's a proper YouTuber who drives cars all over Norway. It's incredible. I think he's the best. I mean, the effort he puts in is absolutely massive, and he has got quite a big following, but strangely not as big a following as some other people on YouTube who drive cars, and they get a huge following for doing very, very little. And there's Bjorn that does a massive amount, a huge effort, and there's guys I suppose from the media who get in the car, drive it up and down the road, say, oh look at these cup holders, and they've got a massive following. And there's Bjorn that goes into every detail of the vehicle. He's really good. Yeah, look at some of Bjorn's videos. I mean, if you're not interested in electric cars, you can see the view, because the scenery in Norway is absolutely fabulous. All mountains and lakes, fantastic. That's where get a lot of their power from, the hydroelectricity, because of the mountains and lakes. So very nice. I'd quite like to go there. And if you go there with an electric car, you can go there cheap, and they've got plenty of places to charge it because they've got infrastructure, because they've gone for it big time. And the UK could have gone for it big time, because we're a small country, which should be an advantage. We've got loads of roads, small country, a real car-based country. It should be electric car-based country as opposed to a carbon-based country, which we are still sticking with because we don't give enough incentives. Yeah, because you've got to get the wheels rolling. You've got to get it rolling first. Then you can take some incentives away, and everyone will moan about that. But you've got to get the wheels rolling. You've got to get the incentives running. And then everybody be driving around like this in a really smooth car. I mean, it's electric cars been around for a long time, over 100 years. But it's a flip of the coin, oil or electric, and the oil lobbies who are powerful, like they are today, and making loads of money, like they are today, they got their way. So everyone ended up driving around in a fossil burner. Goodness knows how many millions of people have been killed, and it is millions over the years of chucking out the rubbish. I mean, cars now, fossil cars, are relatively clean, but in my day, God, they were chucking out all sorts of crap. I mean, that was their thing. It's almost like a badge of honour to have your exhaust pipes. But it still is now. You still see cars being made with 4 exhaust pipes coming out the back, as if it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yeah, look at me, I've got my exhaust pipes. Yeah. And then there's some cars actually disguise them. Look, we are ashamed, as you should be, of your exhaust pipes. So anyway, that's that really. That's that bit of a moan. Where are we now? Because you can't really see, but I'm going round Epsom Downs, and my usual place. The sky's a bit grim, but it's sunny as well, which is a bit of an odd one. So we've got cloud and sun, just as the weather forecast predicted. The weather forecasts seem pretty good today, all these days. Yeah, they seem to be doing quite well. More people on the road. For a period, we had roads that are really, really quiet because everyone was told to stay indoors, and everybody was told to work from home. So the roads got really quiet and pollution went down, which is quite nice. Now, pollution's gone up, and we're getting back to normal. Is it the normal we really want? Well, I don't want it. And it seems to me we've also, now the government's saying, don't stay at home, go to work. Even though you can work from home, go to work, because the very, 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 very wealthy coffee companies are losing some money. Starbucks and what's the other ones? Anyway, Starbucks are making loads and loads of money, and they're not making quite as many millions or billions as they were. So the government's saying, go back to work, because we don't want these billionaires to lose a few quid. So go back to work and buy your coffee, because we want to make the wheels go round. But they're not your wheels. We want to make billionaires' wheels go round. Can't have them suffering. Well, it's hardly suffering, but I mean, of course, the other argument is, well, these billionaires are employing people, and that is true. Sadly, the billionaires aren't paying any tax, and the people who they are employing at minimum wage are paying shed loads of tax, which is nice, isn't it? It's nice for the billionaires not to pay tax. Well, it's very nice, very nice. How the system works for you when you've got a bit of power. Road's a bit bumpy here because we don't fill in potholes in the UK, and just in case it was too smooth, even with the potholes, we're putting some road humps as well. You just add a bit more suspension damage to your vehicle. And I can see there's a few puddles there, and the puddles are there because of road humps. Because road humps are blocking the road. Brilliant stuff, great stuff. Good way of slowing vehicles down. Damage them and block the drainage. Ingenious. Gosh, I'm a miserable sod, aren't I? Gosh, I can. Anyway, we're going up now. We're going up towards. Let's go towards Ashton. It's quite nice around there. Not too much traffic just at this point, because I'm going away from the traffic, because traffic's all in London, so I'm going away from that. And as I say, it's not unpleasant. What have I got? Oh, I've got my air conditioner. Oh, a few small things. The car, the updates, which are really great. I mean, if from an outward point of view, you think it's a bit of a gimmick, but actually, no, updates are really, really nice, because you get a slightly different car after every update. I mean, I'm talking slight, but the last update, one of the early ones, was the voice commands. You can say fold mirrors and they fold in, and that's quite a good one, because and especially UK, if you're going down a tight road, cars coming towards you, you both slow down because you've got to squeeze past each other. You really want to fold your mirrors in, because if your mirrors are the same height as the other person's mirrors, it's quite a big, I suppose about a foot, isn't it, of overlap, because they're both sticking out at the same point. So you can just tell your mirrors, press the button, a right-hand button on the steering wheel, and say fold mirrors, and your mirrors fold, which is pretty nifty, because realistically you don't want to go into that screen. It sounds a bit tight there. You don't want to go into that screen because it's a bit fiddly. And other things that other cars have got, I know the Volkswagen ID3, which is coming out, I must say I'm a bit bored with it, because it's been coming out for about 3 years. We've seen the ID3 for 3 years and it's not in the showroom, so in a way I'm a bit bored with it. But they've shown one that's been driven around by journalists. It's still not for sale, and it's got things like, it seems like things like the journalists didn't like it and I don't like it, and slider controls for the temperature and radio. Nobody likes slider controls in a car, because you can't just slide it without looking. You've got to look to see where the slider is and how much you're turning the volume up and down. So that's crazy. I mean, for controls that need variable controls, like say the wipers, the heat, the air conditioning, the radio, the audio, you want a knob. You're going to twist it. You know where you are. If it's twisted all the way one way, it's off. There's no sound. If you twist it, click, 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 turn it up. You don't have to look at it. It's just there. And in a car, surely you want to operate things with it's just there. You don't want to look at it. I mean, things on the Tesla, which obviously I'm getting pretty used to it. I've had it for a year. But even so, if I suddenly had a bank of fog, saying I was near the coast or something, and they had banks of fog, and I had to turn the fog lights on, I'd have to go into the screen to turn the fog lights on. And that's when I can't see where I'm going. So that's the last thing you want, is actually a bit of distraction. So that's the thing which, you know, turn on fog lights would be a good voice command. But if you had a knob, you could just have side lights, headlights, fog lights, click, 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 without even having to look. There's a certain amount of changing things for the sake of changing them. Right, because you know, we've got technology now, so we'll make things less convenient but more techy. So yeah, could do without that. Don't change things just for the sake of it. Don't change things for the better, of course. Just don't change things because it amuses you, or the company fancies changing things. Change things for the better every time, but don't change things just because that car's got a knob. And I'm not talking about me steering the car. That car's got a knob. We won't have a knob, because we'll be different. Another thing that gets me is he's bloody, and it must be quite expensive, and they will go wrong at some stage. Cars are coming in with not door mirrors, door cameras. Door cameras. To what point? Streamlining. That is true, but absolutely tiny amounts of drag you get from your mirrors. I mean, a case in point, I mean, they can get efficiency from other things, like making the car better would be a plan. I mean, South Korea and Tesla are leading the way in efficiency. Now, Honda have brought out Honda whatever. Well, it's the only all-electric Honda cars, so anyone's interested in electric cars will know about the Honda, whatever it's called. Some people love it. I mean, the only reason you love it because you think it looks cute, but no, I can't even see that. But it's supposed to be a town car. £33,000 for a town car. Whoopee-doo. Gosh, for £33,000, I want it to fulfill my every need and make me breakfast in the morning. £33,000 for a tiny car with very, very low range. And it's not just because the battery is small, it is strangely inefficient. Now, electric cars, this car's incredibly efficient. So are all South Korean cars around town. Fantastic. This is on the standard range Tesla. If I drove this around town all day long, I'll get 300 miles on a charge. And that's far above what is about 250 miles is what is said it will get. But I'll get 300 miles on this drive around town all the time. Incredibly efficient. Amazingly, this Honda is inefficient around town. Even with its camera mirrors to help along, it is incredibly inefficient. And everyone who drives it, as I say, like from Norway, has driven it, and yeah, Bjorn, and everyone's amazed how inefficient it is. And he drives on the motorway and fast roads where it's supposed to be inefficient because it's a town car. But no, it's inefficient everywhere. It is the king of inefficient. What a puzzle. What an absolute puzzle. How can they do it? And oddly, there's BMW with the Mini electric, annoyingly with a small battery, but at least it's efficient. And amazingly, it uses the same technology and battery from the BMW i3, which was made with carbon fiber and many specialist things to make it efficient, and it never was. And yet the Mini is, which is great, and a puzzle all at the same time. no one can quite understand why the Mini is. I mean, I looked at it, I thought, gosh, that's going to be dreadfully inefficient because it's got a snub nose, so they haven't managed to curve that off. But no, it does quite well. It's a damn shame they couldn't have squeezed a bit more battery in, because it would have been something a bit special. But it does. It's a lot. My first thoughts of the Mini was, wow, that's a pointless bloody thing. Solely because of the battery, because I'm a bit of the bigger the battery the better. I think anyone who drives an electric car thinks that. Not only because of the range and the convenience, but it's a bit hard to see the disadvantage. People say, well, it's true, the batteries are heavy, but they're in the floor, what the hell? The centre of gravity is really low, so that's okay. So I can't see the downside, but I can see loads of upsides for a big battery. Big batteries last longer. That's a fact. Because they need to be charged less often. Because batteries aren't that keen on being charged over and over again. They call it cycling, and they're not that keen on cycling, and but they still last. They still last a car forever. But it's just big batteries will not go down in power over the years. Will not wear out, because they're less stressed. They're less stressed in every way. When you floor throttle in this, which isn't too often because it's a quick car. So that's another thing about small batteries and slower cars, is their batteries will probably last less longer, because like in a small fossil car, the battery is stressed more. The smaller the battery, the more it's stressed. Tesla have got a supercar coming out. They seem a bit behind getting it out. But as I say, anyone who's interested in electric cars know all about the Tesla Roadster. A freaky thing with a 200 kilowatt battery, and absurd. I mean, I'm only saying the times the 60 watt, because it's ridiculous, because anyone thinks they're going to use that to its potential would just kill themselves. But the life of that drivetrain and battery, wow, must be. I think it's a forever car. Unfortunately, if you get one when you're young, and obviously and if you're well flush, your forever car will get knocked on the head, because when you get a family, either you keep it as your second car, because you won't be able to get the kids in it and the pram and stuff like that. But it's a car which would never ever be stretched, because if it's got a motor which can withstand that huge torque, which you'll never use, so how long will that motor last being totally unstretched? And how long will that battery last being totally unstretched? I can see those cars. Well, I won't be able to see those cars because they'll be outliving me. Those cars will go on and on and on. Just on and on and on. Elon Musk is talking about the million mile battery. Well, why not? And I say that I don't think it'd be a million mile tiny small car battery. It'd be a million mile big car battery, because they will last longer and they are less stressed. So they'll be going on and on. I'm just going to Box Hill now, which is quite nice. Again, I keep saying it's quite nice. Like that comedian on, I guess be in Britain, on the Far Show, to get that. Yeah, down here there's a place. I recommend it for anyone, because funny enough, it's not that busy. Not during the week. It's busy at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, because a lot of motorcyclists go there. Riker Burger joint. You just get to, and it works quite well with this COVID restrictions, because you go in with your mask on, order your burger, and you go outside and collect your burger and chips from a window outside. So that's quite nice. I mean, it's such a down, all this COVID stuff. It's quite nice to be able to be in a place which is not so affected by this disaster. I mean, you can go in there, you can eat outside on the picnic tables outside, or you can take it back to your car if you want. As I've said many times before, if you've got an electric car, you take it back to your electric car when it's cold and wet and raining and whatever, or baking hot, and you just can run your air conditioning or heater because it's an electric car. You're not sitting there with the engine running. Oh, that's another thing I was going to say about fossil cars. When you start it up in the morning, you start the car up and it sits there. Even cars, even petrol cars, which turn themselves on and off at the traffic lights and that rubbish, they're sitting there with their engine running when it's cold because they have to warm up before that system comes in, even if you've got that system. And electric cars are 90% efficient, fossil cars 30% efficient. Absolutely hopeless, because you're sitting there with your engine running and you're doing absolutely nothing. You're just sitting there with the engine running. That engine's using up fuel, using up your money just to sit there, because it can't work without that thing spinning around, and the minimum speed it spins around is 600 revs a minute. So there it is spinning at 10 revs a second for no purpose whatsoever, except to burn your money. That's all it does. Sitting there with your engine running. Wasn't stupid. I mean, I'm saying it's stupid because I always had fossil cars, so I didn't have electric cars. So then it wasn't stupid because that's all we got. Well, now you've got something better. So I can't recommend electric cars too much because they are better. They're better to drive, they're better for the environment, they're better for your pocket. Just got to get over that initial layout, which is harsh and maybe too much. I mean, China are making some cheap electric cars, but we in the UK can't really just go willy-nilly importing Chinese electric cars. But they seem to keep the price. They keep the price down with everything, but that's due to well, of course, it's not a good thing because they have a bit of enforced slave labour type stuff. I remember years ago, not that long ago, say 6 years ago, you could go to Asda in the UK and buy a pair of jeans from China for £3. Now that's absurd. And you think, well, hang about, why not charge £4 and pay the people some decent money? Because that's the difference, because that would be a huge amount difference percentage wise. Why don't they do that? But now those days are gone. Actually, the jeans aren't cheap anymore, so it's probably, I feel, obviously I don't know, but I feel that China is sorting themselves out, because more and more countries say we're not having Chinese goods. They're horrible, horrible people, and we're lovable people, so we're not going to have Chinese goods. But then China have got an advantage of one thing, is they've got such a massive population. If they can employ their people, then they've got a massive market all of their own. Quite a high percentage of the people in the whole world live in China. So pay your people and they can buy the stuff. They can buy their own products, and that will and the wheels will go round. All will be well. That's sort of the market leveling itself out. I mean, at the cost of other countries who have been ripping off the world and making themselves rich, or making a tiny minority of their people rich. And that's the one I want to carry on. Even poor people love billionaires. A bit of a head scratcher that. I mean, that's especially in America, it seems, but we like it as well. Poor people love billionaires. What a puzzle. What a strange thing that is. As if those billionaires are going to give you some. Or is it just because, like people liking the Kardashians because they're rich. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing. You're not getting it. But you look at these people and you're poor and you love rich people. We've just had it here in the UK, and yeah, we love rich people. We voted in a government that loves rich people. To put through a measure which we all know what it is, because said, I will deliver Brexit. Brexit's no good for poor people. And they say, well, we pay the EU so many millions a week, and well, do you think you're going to get it? For one thing, the millions you spend a week makes the transition between trade cheaper. It's like a discount card. You pay for your discount card with your millions a week, and you get a discount and free trade that makes everything smooth, running nicely and smoothly as it has done for 50 years. So sod that. We don't want that anymore. We're out. And all those millions we'll be saving, we will get it. We will get it. You won't get it. You're not going to get any of it. I'm not going to say, hey Fred, you know you voted Brexit. Here's your money. No, hey Alfred. You've got your Brexit. Here's your lack of choice. Here's your stretch for medication. Here's the less foreigners, which would have looked after you in the future. There you are, Fred. This is what you've got. You've got nothing, Fred. You've got nothing. That's a lot of hassle. The biggest dream that Brexiters got is to try and get things as good as they are now. That's their ambition. Yes, we can get our sheep from Australia. It's only what, 10,000 miles away. That's a good plan, isn't it? Let's get our dead sheep from Australia, 10,000 miles away. What a super idea that is. And we can sell to Australia. Nothing. What have we got that Australia wants? Let's have a think. What have we got that Australia wants? Well, they certainly don't want we haven't got any cars, have we? But if we assemble some cars in this country, we assemble some Nissans, and because they send the bits and we put them together, like we're the thickos, because they make the parts, which is the high-tech bit, and we screw them together because we do the dim-wit part. So right, we've got lots of Nissans. We've got lots of Nissans in this country because we screw them together. Now Australians aren't going to want Nissans. Well, actually, they do want Nissans, because where they get them from? They get them from Japan, because Japan's on their doorstep. What country would be stupid enough to buy things from the other side of the world? I mean, what country would vote to buy things from the other side of the world? I mean, could there be a country that stupid? Could there be a country that says, oh, I don't want to get things from 30 miles away. I'd much rather get it from 10,000 miles away. That's much more sensible. When I do my weekly shop, I don't want to go to the local Tesco's. I want to go 200 miles away every week to buy my local shopping because I don't know why. Nobody knows why. Because it's a feeling. I want that feeling of, I don't know what the feeling is. It's a bit like war. It's like countries go to war every so many years. It seems to have gone out of fashion, thank goodness, at the moment. But it's like, oh, let's change something. I want change. We want change. Is it better? Who cares? I want change. Is it worse? Still don't care. I want change. Crazy, crazy folk about. And the government seem to vote along this crazy, crazy folk. So the crazy guy, who's Mr. Johnson, who's got COVID, and it looks like it has affected him. It's a bit hard to tell because he's a bit of a ditherer anyway, but now he's even more dopey. So there he is, and we voted him in. I'll deliver Brexit. Good-o. That's just what we need. It's just what we need. We need to have less choice. We need to have substandard food. We need to have the risk of our power being cut off. We need to have the lack of security. We need to have let's not exchange security with each other like Interpol. We need to have all those rubbish things just so we can get some crap food from America and crap food from Australia and crap culture, because we don't want culture. We want crap. We want burgers. We want rubbish. We voted for rubbish, and we can't get it quick enough. And who persuaded us? Not persuade me. Who persuaded the majority that we wanted this rubbish? Rich people. Because rich people like it. Because rich people will get richer. Poor people will get poorer. At best, they will be as worse off as they are now. So that's something to look forward to. And people who had voted Labour all their life voted Tory, voted Conservative. Amazing, absolutely amazing. That they voted for rich people, like America is voted for rich people. An extraordinary turnout for the books. How whole countries, whole populations can be completely deluded, completely, well, conned. That's a good enough word. They've been conned. And we're going with it. And the cons still are happy with it. They still want it. And so many people are saying how bad it will be, and they still want it. Or do they still want it? Or do they want to not? Or are they frightened of thinking they're foolish? Maybe they're frightened of feeling foolish. Now, you might be able to hear that in front. A motorbike, a fossil motorbike, making a racket, sticking out some stink. That tiny motorbike is polluting much more than me. Yeah. Well. Anyway, what can you say? I think I've said lots, haven't I? I've been droning on and on. I'm actually so bored. Where am I now? I'm going towards Kingswood-ish. I mean, anyone that live around here, I've got no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, most people don't know what I'm talking about anyway. So we're going towards Kingswood. Roads are still pretty quiet. Sun is still intermittent. Oh, the other side of the road. Sorry, you can't really see it. Police van trying to stop people with their cameras. Stop people speeding. Just speeding doesn't cause accidents, you know. It's cars hitting each other. Yeah, just a thought. That's a bit silly of me, but the vast majority of accidents are happening by cars that are within the speed limit. The vast majority of accidents are caused by sober people. But I'm going along a bit of a comedy trend with that, because obviously I'm just being a bit silly. But that is me, really. You've got to be silly. You've got to laugh, haven't you? When everything's going wrong and you can't see any plus. Oh, I can't see any pluses knocking around at the moment. We're going to have this virus forever. They're not going to be getting. They're not going to get a cure for the virus, are they? No way. And if they do get this inoculation against it, a lot of people, maybe the majority, won't be taking it because it's risky, and you don't get rushed in, and you don't want the government saying it's good for you, because the government in this country, people think the government in this country, and they've got a very valid point, I'm telling you a lot of crap, and certainly they don't know what they're talking about. We are endeavouring to do a trade deal. That bloody bike in front. We're endeavouring to do a trade deal with an Australian con man who was Prime Minister for 2 years and chucked out for being a con man, for being a sexist, a racist, a real lowlife. And that's who we're getting to organise our deals with Australia. Aren't we the ones? Aren't we the great country? Aren't we wonderful? Do you think if I accelerate quick, I could knock that bloke off his motorbike? I shouldn't say actually now, but I could, couldn't I? Yeah. Anyway, so all is gone wonky. The future's dim, the future's orange. We used to have that saying in this country. We used to have a telephone company called Orange, and they said the future's bright, the future's orange. Well, actually, for us now, the future's dim because we are going to be presided over by a dimwit who is orange. The orange man in the USA who doesn't condemn a vigilante shooting people in the street, who said the only thing he said that was honest is the way when he first got in, he could shoot somebody in America on the high street and still not lose any votes. And how true that was. How true that was. Such a despicable piece of crap is in charge of the United States of America, twinned up with another despicable piece of crap who is in charge of the United Kingdom, like twins. Yeah, right. Good, that motorbike's gone through some red lights. That's handy because he's gone away. I think I'll call that a day. Thanks for listening, if you have been listening. Gosh, 3/4 of an hour of drivel I've been talking to you. Anyway, see you soon. Bye bye.